Hello, everybody, and welcome to the street course here at the Kia World Extreme Games, the 2014 edition, as we get set for the aggressive inline street. And we have 2 rounds coming to your way, 10 skaters in all, and 5 will try to make it to the final. We break it down for you in this extremely tight course. It's 2 heats of 5, 3 45-second runs. And again, the top 5 overall advance into the final. 5 very skilled skaters. They skated this morning, they got to this round, and we have 5 different countries being represented in this first group of 5. And of course, a big name that sticks out is Takeshi Yasutoko from Japan. And this is our first look at the 5 that you'll see. Again, they will have 45 seconds each run. They can fall and get right back up and continue their run, and they can go from anywhere on the street course that they like. Hi everybody, I'm Paul Higgins along with the legendary Arlo Eisenberg, and welcome to the Kia World Extreme Games. And Arlo, great to have you in the booth, and I know that you're pretty excited about this event. Your thoughts, a lot has changed over the last several years, and aggressive inline continues to grow, especially in Asia. And you and I were just talking about this course. It has 3 different disciplines that they use it for, of course, skateboard, bike, and inline. So they have to kind of fit the mold of all 3, but this might fit the best so far with inline.
Yeah, you have to make a lot of compromises. Oh my goodness. WEG starting out with a 900 right away. That's interesting because this is the first round of the semifinals, and in the prelims, the guys, I think, were a lot more careful to be consistent. Now they're taking chances. They know only 5 advance. And so whereas WEG was doing really 540s earlier in the prelims, he's starting out with a 900. So you can see that the energy and the amplitude's all being stepped up here for the semifinals.
As Arlo mentioned, this is Wake Shetman out of the USA, a young skater, and again, he's judged on creativity, style, difficulty of tricks, using the entire course and not falling.
He is a young skater, in fact, the youngest in the field. He's only 17, graduated high school early, so now he gets to travel around with the Nitro Circus as a performer skating on their mega ramp. But he's been a prodigy in the sport for a long time, a really special skater. He is a really, well, at this point, these are all really great skaters, but Carrillo has some fantastic street video sections that you can see online. He's famous for doing really big, dangerous tricks on street.
Carrillo starts off really fast, and again, Arlo, going back to when I first commentated when you were skating back in Rhode Island, and some of the early extreme games. Your thoughts about attacking the course with speed? I mean, that's what you did. You were very aggressive out there when you skated. Your thoughts, if you were judging this, do you like to see the speed?
Absolutely. You want to see a guy charging and attacking the course, as you say, and hitting a lot of obstacles. But what Carrillo's doing really well here is he's also getting some difficult tricks in. He's not just cruising around the course. He's putting in a lot of difficulty.
I just like how aggressive he is on the course, and you and I also talked there, a little bit of technicality right there, which obviously this particular course doesn't offer all the technical things that you can do, but you got to find it. Our Carrillo partner is getting just left, and then we have Diego getting ready to drop in from Switzerland. So 2 skaters, and they have successfully completed their runs without falling. Decides not to wear a helmet in favor of that, or is it kind of your choice?
Oh, as he goes down. Yeah, it's at the skater's discretion. I mean, the truth is, however you feel about it, in their natural element, most of these guys don't wear helmets on street.
Right.
As we talk about that, the skater who we just saw, Carrillo, is wearing a helmet, and it's because a couple weeks ago he actually had a really scary head injury. So every once in a while something like that happens that reminds you it is a dangerous sport, and it's like, how much do you want to risk it? Your head's sort of a precious commodity. No doubt about it. So you kids at home, make sure you sport a helmet. If again, these are professional skaters. As Arlo said, they are the best skaters in the world. And even they get hurt.
And they get hurt. So you got to make sure that you go out and do the right thing.
We want to see their best tricks.
Chin Kai Hung, he drops in.
I tell you what, this is one of my dark horses. He was great in the prelims. Coming out of Taiwan, that's too bad, because that was a difficult trick, and he stuck it right there. 540 alley-oop soul.
Arlo, can you talk just momentarily about the technical aspects of a course like this? Because we briefly mentioned it about, you know, there's not a lot of things that you can rack up those technical points, but some of these rails you can.
Well, you can certainly rack up the technical points. What's the difference is they're not going to be as big. I mean, there's no giant rails out there, but I mean, there's nothing stopping you from spinning into a grind or spinning out of a grind, or even switching it up while you're on the rail. Now there's not as many places where you can switch it up because the rails are shorter. Really only the long rail at the middle of the course is where you can see the most switch ups.
So Takeshi Yasutoko from Japan, he will lead the end of this group of 5, and then we'll start back at the top again. So Takeshi drops in, and a lot of power, a lot of skill with this guy.
You expect to see him doing that, getting upside down out of these ramps. I mean, Takeshi knows his way around a transition, so he should carry some speed for the course. Oh, man.
He went straight in. Oh,
he's okay.
That's
thank
good.
Goodness.
Camera guys did a good job of finding him. That was a tough one. So he goes down hard, Takeshi, and again, he has 2 runs left, Arlo, but that kind of leaves a little crack in the door.
It does. And, you know, Takeshi, he may be the biggest name out here. Certainly the Yasutoko brothers are famous worldwide. But he's not, you wouldn't really call him one of the favorites on street.
Stay tuned. There's more exhilarating action coming to you after the break. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kia World Extreme Games. I'd like to thank our partner, DJI, for giving us these great drone shots. I have one of these at home, and they are fantastic. You get a hands on one, this is the kind of stuff you can do. How cool is that? Normally, we'd have to whip out our own big helicopters, but now we've got the drone, the DJI, our partners here at the Kia World Extreme Games.
900, that's what we saw in the first round, lands it. Spinning fakie 270, topside acid. There's that big handrail as he goes backside, backslide. And what happens with these smaller elements out here is it gives them a lot of opportunities to do tricks, which they're using. But even when you hit the tricks, you're not racking up giant points from the judges.
Right.
So it's sort of a little more risk than it's worth. But you almost don't have a choice. You got to keep adding those tricks.
He's going to finish up the waning seconds of his run. A little disappointed. He started off really good and then had that fall, led into another fall. So again, he's trying to better that 76.33. It might not be enough right there.
Yeah, they're looking for one clean run. And so, you know, with each run, as each run passes, you're leaving yourself less and less room.
Pressure a little bit.
Exactly. Carril's got this run. He's got a line here pretty dialed. He goes wall ride, topside acid. He's going to throw in a lot of tricks here. He went alley fish up on the quarter pipe. Here's one of those little tricks. It's just sort of a filler in between. 360 acid. And anytime you spin into a grind, especially one like that where you've got to do a disaster, which means you're jumping into the trick, I mean, that adds difficulty. 540 up on the wall.
Oh, I like that he's using the entire course, and he is just ripping around.
Oh,
just
man.
Slams pretty hard on his elbows on top of the coping there, but before that, it was pretty flawless.
You know what's funny is I was talking to him in between runs while these guys were practicing him. I asked him about that ramp where he just fell, and I said, what do you think of it? He said, well, it's kind of weird. It has 3 different transitions on it, because I don't know if you can tell from the angles, but it's
right.
3 different angles you're coming at. And he said that's strange. It's sort of,
yeah.
He was having some anxiety over it, and it just bit him right there.
Well, it was definitely warm here in Shanghai, China in the morning for the skaters on all the disciplines that we have to offer at the 2004 Kia World Extreme Games. Diego dropping with the same trick that he did.
Big start. Getting upside down and inverted that 540. And this is where he fell in the last run. Again, squirrely. Let's see if he can bring it back here. Spinning 450 to backside rail, but not very clean.
That's what I was going to ask you. The judges are looking for how clean you can pull the tricks.
Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, the whole point is to make it look good, and you know, a lot of these tricks are not very clean out here. That was nice.
Wow. How often, in your mind also, if you have one particular run, one particular line that you've been doing, if you mess up in it, do you change it for your second or third run, or you still keep pounding it out?
Yeah, I think it actually works the other way. There he goes. 540 to Alip Sol or Soyal. I think what they try to do is land the run that they have planned, and then they try to step it up from there. Like they'll use the same line, but they'll add a little bit of difficulty to the tricks. 360 to Sol.
Oh, just got back on his heels.
Almost pulled it out.
Looks like he's having fun, though, even though he fell, and that's part of it. That's why they skate. It's a lot of fun to do. They just happen to be so good at it. They're professionals, and this is what they do for a living.
Yeah, it's too bad, you know, because honestly, the runs that we've seen in this first heat, just looking at the line, I think Chin's got a really good line there.
He does, yeah. It's
just a matter of landing those tricks.
That fall in the middle of his run's going to hurt. As we get set for Takeshi Yasutoko from Japan, he had a run of 40, and Arlo mentioned he's not known for his street skating. He's a very powerful skater. You'll see him on the vert ramp also in competition, of course.
But it's also, at the same time, it's not completely unexpected seeing him out here. Even on vert, he's really good on the coping. He has a lot of awesome grinds. But I don't expect to see him falling here again. I think Takeshi's going to pull out a solid run.
Yeah, he disappeared on us in the first round that fall. We'll keep track of him here as he goes up on the coping.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a solid trick right there.
This is definitely a better run than his first one.
Yeah.
And he's making it look easy, too, you know?
He's cruising around the course. Fakie 360 to backslide. So these are respectable street tricks from Takeshi, but Takeshi gets a lot of respect. I mean, he is a very good skater.
You and I were talking yesterday about him training. Where's he training now?
Well, Takeshi spent the month before coming out here in California. He was training at Camp Woodward West. Oh, and right at the buzzer he goes down. But so he put in the time at Woodward. He hung out with John Julio, who has a street skating company, Valo. So he's been hanging out with some street skaters, and we'll see how that works out for him here. But he's skating street and vert this weekend, so he's got his work cut out for him.
All right. Kirill Gayushka out of Russia. He's looking at a 76.67. Currently leads this heat number 1.
Yeah, he's in a good position, but you know, this heat doesn't guarantee you're going to make it into the finals. He's still got 5 other guys to contend with in the next heat.
That's right. And we'll talk about them as we get into that.
There you go, 360 acid.
He's moving around this course like he means it. Definitely wants to finish without a fall.
540, so far so good. This is where he fell in the last round. Let's see. Fakie 540. Now he's staying on his feet, so he might be bringing up that score even.
Hey, he cracked a smile, and he's still smiling as he rolls out backwards.
I'd keep it going here. Make a good impression, finish on a strong note. There you go, backside Royale. Oh, I think he wanted to transfer there.
He patted his right knee there for a second. I'm not sure what that was, but that was definitely a solid run for him. And we'll see if Kirill gets that better score of 70. Oh, last run 66.67, so 10 points less. than his prior run.
That's
in which,
surprising.
yeah. You and me both. But total of 10 skaters in these two heats. We've seen heat number 1, and check it out. 76.67 for Kirill. He's currently in the lead. Takeshi Yasutoko at 75.33 could still make it. The Kia World Extreme Games will be right back with more heart-pumping action after the break. Welcome back to the Kia World Extreme Games here in Shanghai, China. It's a fabulous day, and a little while ago we had the medal presentation for the climbing wall, the men's speed final, as they came out and they received their medals, and rewardingly so, they took up on the podium. And of course, Aspar J. Lolo, the top podium, gold medal winner, along with Sergei Sinitsyn. He won it last year, takes second this year. Boza Yuliento, he gets a bronze. So Aspar J. Lolo, and there is a good look at Yuliento, and of course, Sergei. Sergei was just extraordinary early on, and he had the best time coming in, which seated him first. And he ends up in second place with the silver medal and our gold medal winner. Welcome back to the street course for the street inline final, and what a great competition we have in the book so far. 5 skaters we have seen, now we see 5 fresh faces, including our gold medalist from last year, Soichiro Kaneshima. But there's 4 other skaters that could very well win this competition. Remember, the skaters get 3 runs each, 45 seconds each on the course. So you can go with your highest score, Arlo Eisenberg, and of course, we mentioned these 5 skaters already. They could be the final itself.
This could be it. I mean, this is a loaded heat. 4 of the 5 riders in this heat were the top 4 finishers last year. And there's no reason that they shouldn't repeat that this year. And the 5th guy, CJ Wellsmore, has been dominating every competition for the last couple of years. I mean, he's a threat to win this thing.
And that's who we get an opportunity to see. First off, CJ Wellsmore from Australia comes in.
Let's watch this guy attack this course. I mean, he's really going to charge and fly through this thing. But what makes him special,
Whoa.
Look at that boost. Right into the big double grab 360 over the box, but he's also really good on the handrails and the grind, so he's the total package. Case in point right there. I mean, that was beautiful stuff.
In our first 5 skaters, only 1 skater finished his entire run without falling. And this young man is already out doing it to start heat number 2.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's bad news for all those guys on the bubble from the first heat. I mean, this is a really stacked field here in the second round. Awesome. 270 into the embankment. And whereas we saw all those guys going down in the first heat, I mean, CJ just came out and killed it with his very first run. So he's got 2 more runs left now. He can do whatever he wants because that's going to be a great score.
So CJ Wellsmore gets us started. And we will find out right away who he knocks out of the first group of 5 with this first score, because it's going to be a good one. And we get set for our next skater out of Canada, Richie Eisler, another very good skater, sporting the helmet. And an 85.33 for Wellsmore. That's the highest score of the day.
And deservedly so. I mean, that was a much better run than anything we've seen so far. And we should see a lot more of this. I mean, this is a good field. I can't emphasize it enough. Big disaster soul grind from Richie.
And you and I talked about it during the break. It's like, what can you show? What do you want to show?
Whoa.
You know, because you don't want to show everything if you make it to the final.
Exactly, and that may come into play for these guys, especially if they get one good run under their belts. They might hold back for another 2 runs, not show everything.
Of course, they, like us, sat back and watched the first group of 5 do what he just did. They fell quite a bit. Of course, Richie will have another opportunity out there on the course, but they had an opportunity to watch and learn and see how the judges were scoring them. So that's a benefit when you go second.
Of course, I don't know how much they could have gleaned from the way the judges were scoring the first heat.
Yeah, no doubt. I know we were mystified a little bit.
If you try to guess what they're looking for, you're not going to get many clues from the scores.
Warapaj Boonen getting ready to drop in, and I always like to watch him skate. He's been coming to these games for years, and you know, he's a showman also, which I like.
He is, and he's great. I mean, he's got the skill set, he's got the personality, and he's got the style. What's interesting, or one of the interesting things about Note is his nickname, Warapaj, is that one of his teammates, a guy named Jurasek, is one of the best skaters in the world, certainly in all of Asia, and he's not here. I mean, he is noticeably absent from this event, and I was talking to Warapaj about it, and he said the reason why is Jurasek now has become like a team manager.
Oh, wow.
In Thailand, and so he's dealing with a whole bunch of like bureaucratic stuff. He's like got to make sure they've all got their flights and everything. I said, that's crazy. Send him here. He needs to be here.
Right. He needs to get a flight for himself. He's having a good run right here.
He's having a great one. So now he's representing for Thailand and putting on quite a show. Fakie 360 with the monkey plant. We've seen some good airs, definitely some great grinds, and again, just like CJ, another solid run.
Yeah. As Arlo mentioned, Warapaj is from Thailand, and we have 8 different countries out of being represented out of 10 skaters out of heat number 1 and heat number 2. A lot of camaraderie in this sport. You always like to see your mate do a good job, and Warapaj is up in the ante right here, and he'll get a decent score. A 78.67, so that immediately puts him in the final.
Yep, so far 2 guys we've already seen better runs than the whole first heat.
Yuto Goto getting ready to go. A lot of toes in there, huh?
You said it.
And he is another fantastic skater, and one of those guys that practices and practices his line until he gets it and then just destroys it when he comes and competes.
Yeah, Soichiro, who's from Japan, won this event last year. Yuto got second, and I think these guys are looking probably to repeat that again here. They skate together in Japan. They're both from the same area.
Oh, sliding out on the top.
He's been hitting that all day, so he's going to hope he throws this. Certainly now he's going to hope he throws this run away.
Again, as Arlo mentioned, he can throw this run away because he has a total of 3 runs. You get 45 seconds when you're out on the course.
You know, sometimes what they can do when they miss a trick, instead of just, you know, throwing their hands up in the air and saying, you know what, I know this isn't going to be my best run, instead of working on the line, they can actually try a trick that maybe they didn't want to do otherwise, just sort of get one in there. It's sort of your time, you're alone on the course, may as well take a chance.
Why not do it? If you ever read the book Outliers, you get 10,000 hours of doing something until you get it right? And then you're really good at it, so might as well use the course as much as you can. So we'll see what Yuto did on that one as we get set for last year's gold medal winner. Of course, he will go last. So Ichiro Kaneshima from Japan. He's just amazing skater. Sit back and he'll put on a show.
So Ichiro is great. One of the top street skaters in the world. He rides for Valo, which is a prestigious street team. Was just featured in their latest video, Valo 5. Had a great section. And this guy is really revered across the world for his street skating.
Has a mishap up there on the coping, laid his hand down first and then slid out, so that will hurt him a little bit. But again, he has 2 runs left. And as Arlo mentioned, he's one of the smart ones. He'll stay on the course and use it to his advantage.
Fakie 360, disaster, Ali Macchio. 360 Macchio, which I will note, interesting little footnote, Macchio's name for a Japanese skater from the very first days, the very first competitions back in 1994 in Venice Beach, a skater named Macchio from Japan.
Wow.
And so there's a trick to this day still named for Macchio, the Macchio grind.
I remember covering inline back in 94, 95 back then. The California exploded.
We're showing our age, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the beginning for us.
That was huge. I mean, you guys would get 10, 15, 20,000 people watching that contest. It was crazy. So CJ Wellsmore, man, what a great first run he had. He doesn't need to do anything different, you know?
Let's see what he does. He's got a free roll now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're not going to see him slacking off.
He's your overall leader, and it looks like he's dressed ready to go to a party right after this.
He probably is going straight to a party after this.
Oh, almost comes down. Does a good job of holding himself up.
But, you know, he makes it fun. It always looks like he's having fun out there. He makes skating look fun, and it's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, no doubt. He's got a free-flowing but aggressive, and again, note the name of this sport, aggressive inline, approach about himself.
Coming in Fakie wall ride over the box. Right
nice.
In, 0 spin into the backside Savannah.
Crowd here at the Kia World Extreme Games being treated to CJ Wellsmore, and he had an 85.33. Again, top 5 scorers advanced to the final. We got a couple on the bubble right now. Eisler could change things up, and Goto, of course, he has that 65.33. So right now there's a couple guys still safe in the first heat, but that could change dramatically as we continue in this heat number 2 and run number 2s. The weather's starting to cool off a little bit, but it should not affect the skaters because there's no real moisture in the air right now, so they shouldn't have to worry about that.
And Richie's from Canada, so cold doesn't bother him.
Yeah, no doubt. Now him going off the course like that, does that, you know,
there's no penalty for it.
No penalty, yeah.
It's all about your time. As long as you get back in and take advantage of every second you've got out there. There you go, 270 topside sole. Now, Richie missed a lot of tricks in his first run, so he's got a lot of room for improvement. And already you see him much cleaner run, except for the little stroll
goes
through
down
the grass.
hard.
Yeah, you can see the frustration.
And there's a couple guys. Wake Shetman has a 76.33, and Kirill from the previous heat has a 76.67. So a couple.
You know, it's interesting. Yuto's in, but he has not had his perfect run yet.
Right, yeah.
So
maybe he's a
fairly
dark horse.
certain he's going to want to clean it up here. Well, he was our second place finisher last year. So he's not shown what he's capable of yet. So I don't think he's looking at this as a free run. I think he's trying to work out the kinks.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he might just sneak up on you and just blow it away.
That's a great trick right there. Yeah. Off of the bank, spinning Fakie into the sweat stands.
In his run, what is the hardest thing you think he's done so far? He's compacted so many different tricks, but if you were to break, say, Paul, this is what he's done that's the hardest, what would it be so far?
Well, probably that trick that we saw, the jumping off of the bank all the way up to the, you know, it's probably about a 4-foot jump, and then landing sweat stance is a difficult trick.
We'll see if he adds that into his finals run, which he'll have 3 of coming up.
Usually one of Yuto's strengths is his consistency. He does hard tricks, and he hits them all. And that was certainly his best run.
Heat number 2 is in the books. Now we take a look at the results of the aggressive inline street. Round number 1, heat number 2. Yuto Goto, of course, from Japan with that last run of 85.67. He improves his score, and he will get in the final, as will CJ Wellsmore, Warapaj Bonin, and Surichiro Kaneshima. So that's a look at the 5 of the result number 2, but let's now take a look at who will be in the final. And the aggressive inline final will look like this. Kirill will make it. The rest we've already witnessed. Surichiro, Warapaj, CJ Wellsmore, and Yuto Goto qualifying first. taking a look back at Mitchie Brusco, nailing his run, having some good times out on the ramp. You mentioned Emil, 17 years old, and the key, a moment right there. So for Mitchie Brusco, nailing that run, congratulations goes out to him.
The Kia World Extreme Games will be right back with more heart-pumping action after the break.
My name is Soichiro Kanashima from Japan. I'm 27 years old. I'm doing inline skating. Woo! We have a really good group, so it's like more just kind of really fun. Like we all just have a good time skating together. I got my own blades. I got to design them, so they fit me really well and work just how I like them to work. Shanghai, I like that it's big and crazy. It's like a melting pot, you know, like all the different influences.
You can be creative and there's no rules. You can just free your mind and just go. I think that's what inspires me doing it every time, because I have fun doing it. What do I like about Shanghai? There's a lot of things. I guess food, place, people coming to see like all your friends here, you know, in Shanghai. That's what makes like Shanghai trip more interesting, you know, more fun.
The stage is set as we welcome you back to the Kia World Extreme Games 2014 edition for the aggressive Inline Street Final. We've seen 10 skaters, and now we've narrowed it down to 5. The 5 top skaters that enter this competition, well, they are going to play host to 3 different runs as they try to attack this course to finish with gold, silver, and bronze. We'll take a look at how this all breaks down. 5 athletes compete. They get 3 45-second runs, and the highest overall score wins. That means if you fall on your first or second run, well, no big deal. You still got that 3rd run to go. So we've talked about the runs. How about the competitors? We have 5 exceptional competitors that made it into this final. CJ Wellsmore, you're getting a good look at him right there. He was leading the pack until our last skater went. And here is a look at the top 5 that enter this competition. Kirill Galushko from Russia. And then Soichiro Warapaj Bonin from Thailand. CJ Wellsmore got in, as you just saw him just moments ago. And Yuchu Goto with the highest overall score from Japan. So 2 Japanese skaters, and they represent Japan, and we will see how they will fare in this competition. Hi everybody, I'm Paul Higginsveld and Arlo Eisenberg, and welcome back to the street course as we get set for this aggressive inline final. And Arlo, in between the last heat and this final, you had an opportunity to talk to the judges. And how's the sense? And what do you think is going to be shaping up for this? Because obviously you've got a number of judges. They don't always agree. That's why we have separate judges with separate score sheets.
I think there was a little bit of controversy and discussion over Takeshi's score from the first round. I think some of them thought maybe he had the best score, and of course only one rider advanced out of that heat, so the best score in the first round was not just academic, it determined who was going to be in the finals. But Kirill made it, so you can make an argument either way. I mean, he had great runs, he's a great skater, and the bottom line is we've got a great final set. This is 5 really talented skaters.
And this is Kirill dropping in. As Arlo mentioned, he's the only skater out of heat number 1 in round 1 to advance to the final.
But I'll tell you what, the skating that got him out of the first round is not going to cut it here in the finals. He's got to step it up. There you go, 360.
And he was able to watch the 5 skaters that just went as we were, so he got some ideas, and as Arlo mentioned, he does have to step it up, and this is a pretty decent run to start the first run of the competition.
Yeah, the 360 into the Mizu was a difficult trick. No time to lollygag here.
Yeah, I was going to say
keep it going.
You got to take the full 45 seconds if you want to end up on the podium.
There you go.
Yeah.
So backside royale on the handrail, jumping to that flat angle iron ledge.
Representing Russia, Galushko gets us started in our aggressive inline final.
Yeah, it was a good run. For some reason, he doesn't look too pumped on it. You know, these guys have been skating all day, so they are exhausted out there.
So he's got an 82.33 Warapaj does. CJ Wellsmore had some really good scores his first one.
Riding the line. He started out fakey 180 into the bank. So now CJ's never short on energy. Even when his legs are getting tired, he brings it. Big tail grab air. Right into 270 backside Favre. 540 transfer with the mute grab. Great line from CJ. He's been crushing it all day.
How do you compare this with his first run of heat number 2?
You're talking about CJ's?
Yeah, CJ's. He came out and just blasted it, remember?
I think it's right on par with that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of energy. Everything's clean. This is great. And as I say that, he goes down.
And that was with time winding down. So CJ Wellsmore, he doesn't seem too stoked about that run. I know he did not want to fall at the end.
Yeah,
it's got to be gassed.
It's a bummer of a way to end it. But, you know, I don't worry about CJ. I mean, especially after seeing that run, he's on it.
Yuto Goto is getting ready to go, our number 1 qualifier. And we'll take a look at CJ's score when it drops in. And Yuto looking on. So an 80.67 for CJ. He's currently in 2nd place.
Yeah, it's a good sign. I was curious to see how much the judges would penalize him for that fall at the end, and he still broke the 80s. Backside mistrial, 270 back in. It's a really cool way to start. Yeah, 360 into the bank. This is looking great. And then, see, he's still on his feet, but you can't miss those tricks.
Right. And you could tell he's a little dejected at that point.
Well, because he knows.
Yep.
You know, with 45 seconds, that's that great transfer to the sweat stance. But with only 45 seconds, you really can't afford to miss tricks. It counts. He went 450 to the backslide, and then getting monkey plant over the spine ramp.
Oh, gosh, did he save that for himself right there. Again, he's getting more and more frustrated. He waited till his 3rd run of heat number 2 to really blast a good run. Seems a little frustrated right there.
Well, really, he missed the one trick in the middle of the run. Otherwise, it was a pretty good run.
Yeah, Ichiro with a 37.67. Here I am. All right, he's getting fired up. Let's see what he's got. His 2nd run.
Well, he waved off the end of his last run, so let's see if that helps him try and save those legs. So far, so good. Fakey 360, true Macchio. Which, by the way, is not just a throwaway trick. That is a really impressive trick, one of the more impressive tricks out here. Transferring up to the alley-oop porn.
Up on that big box.
540, I love the style on that. So cool. He grabs the mute. Backslide transfer.
So Kaneshima definitely
There
putting
you
on
go.
a better run than he did his first one out.
Yeah, and that's when we knew he was feeling it in the previous heat when he hit that 360 Machio. There you go. Another true Machio.
So Kaneshima will improve on that 37.67. Good to see him get a good run in the books, because that will definitely make the competition more interesting as we get ready for the third and final run, as we are right smack dab in the middle of the competition.
The Kia World Extreme Games will be right back with more heart-pumping action after the break.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kia World Extreme Games. The BMX Vert Final is in the books, and it was none other than Vince Byron, the returning champion. And Warapaj, thumbs up for Warapaj with an 82.33, currently in second place. Kaneshima actually moves into first place, and Boonin goes to third, so I'm not sure if he knows that as he drops in.
Well, he knows he's got a good run, so there should be some spots here where he tries to step it up a little bit. Big air transfer into the big wall bank.
Huge air.
Inverted, flat spin 360. True mistrial.
So Arlo, he's off to a good start in this run.
He is. It's a great run, but it's the same line. I mean, if the judge, he needs to find a place where he can give the judges a reason to boost up that score. There you go, big flat spin over the spine.
He's got a smile on his face after that one.
He's got two guys that have moved ahead of him, so he's got to be looking for places to add points.
Yeah. In a blink of an eye, he had two of them go by him.
So yeah.
Back down the rail, comes in Fakey, and time winds down. Stayed up on his skates, and we'll see if that is a better score than he had on his first run of an 82.33 as we get ready for CJ Wellsmore, who at one time had the best run of the entire competition. And there's a good look at CJ. So,
and I got to tell you something to look out for, because what Yuto and Soichiro are doing that's helping them with their scores, the reason they have blasted to the top, is that the grinds that they're throwing in there are difficult. They're more difficult than the other guys. So this is what they have to compete with. Either you've got to bring more amplitude to offset those technical grinds, or you've got to add a little more difficulty in your grinds.
CJ's just flying around this course right now.
And that's what CJ has going for him. He has the most energy of any skater out here.
Definitely.
There he goes. He just stepped it up right there. He got to switch up on top of that sub box. He's switching it up now. These are all new tricks for CJ. We haven't seen these in any of the previous rounds.
This is what we talked about in the second heat. How much do you show? Well, he didn't show it all because obviously he's got some tricks up his sleeve.
Fakey wall ride over the sub box, 0 spin into the backside rail, 270 into the bank. This is a great run for CJ.
Arlo, this is a very smart run.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what you have to. You have to give the judges an excuse to boost your score. You can't keep showing them the same run because they've already scored it a million times. You gotta give them something new to look at.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of strategy there for CJ Wellsmore, and I would be surprised if he does not improve on that 80.67.
The question is, how much will he improve?
That's right. Yuto Goto is getting ready to go in, and we wait on CJ's score, and we'll go right to Goto. And Wellsmore hoping that
There you go.
And he's got an 86, so that's deservedly so.
That's
He is
smart
back
skating.
in the lead. Yeah, he's back in the lead, so it's nice to see the judges agree with us.
And it adds pressure back on these guys.
Yeah.
So you can't rest on those high scores. This is the finals. You got to keep bringing it.
So Goto in his second
Big
run.
360.
And that's landing on flat, too.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the trick he's been missing. That's the way to nail it. Alley-oop topside acid, and then he spins out of it, so he's spinning into and out of tricks.
And Arlo, you can see it in his face.
Sweat stands, yeah, focus, right?
He's definitely focused.
Fish brain, here we go. That was kind of a wasted part of the line. Not sure what he meant to do there. In fact, he looks like he's losing a little bit of energy, which is a shame because he started out great.
Oh, he falls there.
Very curious.
He put up his hand like one, like maybe, I thought he meant like one more.
Well, sometimes when they put their hands up, they're signaling to the judges that they did a trick switch.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's what he meant.
There you go, Goto, and we'll see if the judges like this score better than his 84 that he had in his previous run. But right now, it is CJ Wellsmore who has the best score.
I wonder if Goto realized that CJ moved ahead of him,
Yeah.
because he seemed to really take it off the second half of that run.
Well, we have a huge monitor down there, and they're not seeing the scores on that particular monitor. So we'll have to see on how that strategy plays out. CJ Wellsmore is in the game, though, that's for sure, because he waited for that second run to unleash some new tricks. Galushko, he's got to really bring it to improve on the 76.
Yep. Wall ride to topside acid. Another topside acid on the quarter pipe. Savannah.
And folks, this is the final run for Galushko, as we are in the third run of the competition of the final.
That's nice, 270 Savannah.
And you know, he'll learn a lot from this final here, this young man.
I was gonna say, based on what we've seen so far and based on his line, even if he nails, I don't know if he's got enough to move ahead of the top guys right now. You've got to add some more dynamic moves. He doesn't have enough amplitude, really. 540 into the bank. As I say, he goes for a big trick, which is great.
Now let's see how he finishes, because he started to kind of wind his run down, and this one he finishes all the way through as the buzzer goes off, and Galushko will wrap up his run. Will it be better than a 76? Maybe, but it won't be good enough to get him on the podium. Well, the final's in the books, and what a final it was. CJ Wellsmore, with a lot of strategy, comes out with some new moves that wins him the gold medal. Soichiro gets silver, and Yuto Goto from Japan, the bronze. Here's our winners on the podium for Inline Street. CJ Wellsmore, of course, he was our winner, and he's up top there, right there in the middle. So we congratulate CJ Wellsmore for an outstanding day of skating. And again, the inline skaters getting their medals that they worked so hard for. So once again, congratulations to all the athletes that came and competed, especially for these three. And more importantly, for the man that's about to get the gold medal, and that would be CJ Wellsmore, sporting a little wrist wrap there. One of the things that come along with skating. And again, CJ Wellsmore, our gold medal winner here in Shanghai, China for the 2014 Aggressive Inline Street. So once again, out of Australia, CJ Wellsmore wins the event. And we congratulate him. Outstanding showcase, not only in the qualifying, but in his final runs. Once again, some of the greatest action sports athletes in the world have come and gone to Shanghai, China. The city is still buzzing with all the great memories these athletes leave us with. Until next year, I'm Paul Higgins. Thank you for watching the 2014 Kia World Extreme Games from Shanghai, China.